Where I think we should take this conversation though, when it comes to Shein and Temu, is like, what is your thoughts about these companies being in the? Do you think that there's space for African people or African companies to compete? And what kind of impact does it have on our country when we buy? Because a lot of the things that you talk about is consumer decision making.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts around that?
So maybe and there's a few important things to touch on. Right? Firstly, I will tell you unequivocally, and I'll even say it into the camera, fast fashion is killing the climate. It's killing the earth. Did you know, and maybe just to put it into perspective, that fast fashion accounts for 10% of global emissions?
Sure.
That means that if fast fashion as an industry was ranked in terms of countries, it would be third in terms of the countries that are generating emissions. It's immense. And it comes down to a lack of understanding in terms of what contributes to your emissions. So you touched on something interesting, which is that digital has lower emissions, but somebody's still driving, right? You still have the delivery vehicles that are delivering it to you. But beyond that, one of the challenges is the materials that are being used are really cheap. The materials are all petroleum derived. So they're derived from your crude oils. There are things like polyester, nylon, acrylics, which are non-recyclable. So the challenge with that is, firstly, I'm going to be a typical Karen. You get microplastics that wash off of those garments every time you put them in the washing. There was an interesting statistic that said we eat approximately 300 grams of microplastics a week in terms of the produce that we eat, because that gets filtered straight back into water systems and it doesn't biodegrade. So that's a challenge. Second to that, it's creating these textile dumps across Africa. So the global West has been very opportunistic in terms of how they've handled in fast fashion, and Shein and Temu are just two examples.